So I'm Jeannie Ralston, and what I thought we would do is I will show you a presentation we put together about the trip, and then we'll open it up for questions. So if you have questions about how we're all doing it, how we are doing this, I will answer them. I just realized I have to find the have to find the link, because that's just my thing, is I just can't do it all at once. Here it goes. Here it goes. And I'll have to make it full screen. So anyway, I'm about to share the screen, but welcome everybody. And oh, I can't share my screen until I share this. Okay. Technology isn't my strong point, so patience, please. Thank you. All right. Let me just do this. There is the full screen. Okay. So, as I said, I'm Jeannie Ralston, and I have gone on this trip just this past year on the West Coast, and it was simply fabulous. And everything, I mean, I had been to Ireland a few times before and spent some time on the West Coast, and it was everything I remembered and more. It was even more exciting. I was with my sisters on this trip, so we had a great time checking everything out for you, making sure it was up to snuff for a NextTribe trip. So we will start. Well, here's just an example of some of the West Coast. We are going to be mostly in County Clare and County Kerry. That's what most of our trip is going to be. So as some of you know from our NextTribe trips, we're not necessarily going to check off everything and do a quick, try to take in everything at once. We are trying to settle in, spend some time relaxing and getting to know certain areas that we've picked out. So we don't want your head spinning. We don't want you to be packing and unpacking constantly. So this is about great experiences in a few specifically chosen places. So, and there's me. That's on the beach at one of the areas we'll be going to. So we'll meet.
Judy.
Yes.
Oh, no, I just said hi, Judy.
Hi, Judy.
I know.
There, we will meet in Dublin. So the idea is you can come in the night before or a couple of days before in Dublin, and then we'll have a central meeting spot in Dublin, and our drivers, we have 2 different vans, and will pick us up and take us straight west, straight to the coast. And we're not going to waste any time, because one of the best parts of this area is the Cliffs of Moher. They're very famous. You've probably heard of them. And we want to go in the evening when it's a little less crowded. Plus, looking for that, if you see in this one picture, the kind of the sunset picture, we kind of like it that light. So we're the sun will be going down over the ocean in front of us as we do our hike. So trying to get you away from too much of the tourist, but at one of the best times of day. We'll be staying at the Falls Hotel, which is simply lovely. I had been looking at several hotels, but we saw this, and all 3 of us, on my sisters and me, we fell in love with it. It's right on a river. You can hear the water running. It's on the big side, but the main part of the house has a long history. So there's some not ancient, but it goes back to not medieval. I'm making up ancient, medieval. Let's see what's next. But it goes back many years, and it has that great feeling of an old Irish house, but it does have the modern amenities as far as in the rooms and everything. So this is my sister Janice, is my sister Judy on the beach in Lynchy. And we'll be there, and this is we'll get a full feeling for the wildness of the Atlantic when we're here. It's super fun. Then we'll take a ferry over to Inisherin, and I don't don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's one of the Aran Islands. If did you see the Banshees of Inisherin? Did anybody see that movie?
Yeah.
It's with Colin Farrell, and it takes place on these islands, that one of the Aran Islands. And so we're going to be going to one of those, and it's really truly like stepping back in time. I mean, you have this the stone walls that Ireland's famous for. It's just crisscrossing the island. There's very few cars. We rented bikes, or you can take, as you can see here, a little horse-drawn carriage through the island. It just was endlessly fascinating. And the ferry crossing itself was fun because you are crossing, and you can see the Cliffs of Moher from the sea as you cross in the distance. But so it was a great day, and that's our first full day is here on this. Then we'll head up to Valley Vaughan and meet a famous woman, Irish whiskey expert. We'll go to her little bar. We'll get to know her story. One of the things we love to do in NextTribe is to meet local women, and this gives us the chance to do that with somebody who's she can tell a good tale. She knows the pubs scene, and I just love her spirit. So then we will, on the next day, I have to make a point that there is a change in the itinerary. We were going to see an artist in Galway, but we just found out like a month ago that she's died. So we've decided to do something still on the coast. Excuse me. There's a company that takes you out onto the beach, and you find things like seaweed or other things that the sea offers up, and they create a very inventive lunch from that experience. So we're going to do that, and it'll give us, that means we have less time to go in the bus. It was going to be like an hour and a half anyway to get to Galway. So that gives us more time to just relax by the sea, enjoy the little towns that we're going to be staying that are nearby. And we get to experience, when we're talking about the wild Atlantic, I mean, we get to experience the food of that the Atlantic gives us, that beyond fish. So then we move on, and we're going next to County Kerry, but on the way we'll see Adare Village, which is just one of those towns you want to drool over. You can see little thatched roofs and whitewashed. The kind of, when you think of Ireland, that on the upper photo here, that's what I think of, with a view of the sea. So this is one of the towns that has retained that feeling of just the picture perfect Irish town. So, and they've got cute little shops, and we'll have lunch there, and then we'll move on to Kenmare, and this is another beautiful town. Hotel is great. It's in walking distance of the main part of town. You have a little walk through the woods to get into the main part of town. That's a lovely spot. Then we'll go on a hike with a local writer. We'll hike around the Beara Peninsula, and we'll spend the morning doing that. And there's, as you may have heard, there's the Ring of Kerry, and there's the Dingle Peninsula, but those are very well traveled. This is the Beara Peninsula. It's much fewer cars on the road, much less traffic and crowds to worry about. But it's a little wilder than either the Dingle Peninsula or the Ring of Kerry. So, but it's just as glorious, and has all these beautiful scenes that you can't get enough of. And for those who want to do something really semi-adventurous, I guess, is there's at the tip of the Beara Peninsula, there's this gondola, and it's only holds 6 people, and the locals on Dursey Island use it to go back and forth to their car, from the island to the mainland to go do their errands and then come back. But it is, again, it's like another one of those things where you feel like you have just stepped into, step back 100 years. And so my sisters and I took the gondola over and did a hike all around the island, and then came back to ride back. So it was just again another glimpse of, and just to appreciate the wildness of and the authentic landscapes without crowded by modern structures and everything. So we went up to a high point where you could just see all over around you 360 degrees of ocean and cliffs. Just a fabulous adventure. So, and then we'll meet with a woman who has a farm, and we didn't know what to expect, but it's really the traditional farming, and you'll see all the ways that the farms used to be run when they were peat farms, and they would farm the peat and make their own molasses and that kind of thing. But we just had a kick because we were feeding the baby lambs. We did a hike along the perimeter of the farm, and they gave us a bottle. I don't know, we can do this part, but we'll do more than this as well. But they gave us a bottle if we wanted to feed the lambs, and we said, how will we find the lambs? And the woman said, oh, they'll find you. And so they saw us coming, and just these lambs just attacked my sister who had the bottle there. So, and then we got a pig as well. Gotta love the pigs. So that's, we'll have a time to do something fun like that. And wherever we go, we're going to be in pubs. We'll have really good food. I mean, Kenmare has fabulous food. We went to this really high-end restaurant in this, I think it was called the Stone Cottage. And then the Irish are just so much fun. You can, anywhere you go, you have, you make new friends. This is one of our new friends who just thought we couldn't get into one restaurant. So he's a local, and he said, oh, I've got a restaurant for you. Come over with me. And so he said, just tell them you're my cousins, and they'll table. And so he said, he pointed to my older sister, you're my first cousin. And he pointed to my little sister, you're my second cousin. And he pointed to me and said, you're my third cousin. You know how they I was the third cousin. But it just fun. I mean, that's you've got to love the Irish for the way they bring you in and embrace you, and their stories and their pubs and their energy. I just love it so much. On the way home, on the way back to Dublin, we'll stop in Kilkenny, which is another one of our gorgeous Irish towns. And there's a castle, there's shopping, and then we'll end back in Dublin, one night in Dublin, where we can have a farewell dinner. And that's when if you want to go off from there, go to spend more time in Dublin or travel on from there. So that is the plan, with lots of outdoor time, lots of time with meeting locals, meeting local women. That's the thing I love. And so this is kind of the idea for the trip. And if you want me to fill in anything, I want to open it up to questions. And what kind of hesitations do you have about signing up? What would you like to see on this trip? So let me know if you have a question. Any questions?
Were you there at the same time of year that this trip is?
Yes. Well, we were there. Sorry. We were like 2 weeks later. So it was this one's late May, that we were there mid-June. It was really
the temperature's like.
The weather.
Uh-huh.
We had one day, you saw us when we were on the beach, that was chilly. So yes, we'll bring, we'll suggest rain jackets or something. But the rest of the days, we were in like we were sunny, high 70s,
Oh,
mid 70s to high 70s in that range.
Nice. I have a question. What kind of money do they use?
Oh, they use the euros.
Euros. Okay. Good.
Yeah. And Amy, I mean,
Hi, question. I'm not great with boats. What is that boat like on the first day?
my little sister is not great with boats either, but it's a short ride. It's about 20 minutes. So, and, that day there were a little bit of rocking. There wasn't
Yeah.
big swells or anything like that. So, but it was a quick ride. We go to there's several Aran Islands. We go to the one that's closest in because we don't want to spend a lot of time on, waste our time on a boat. But, yeah.
How many people are on that boat?
It was about, let's see, I would say about 50.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
So it's big.
Yeah, it's a big boat.
And my experience in Europe
Um,
on boats is they don't really rely on life jackets. Did they give you one? Were they like you could see them?
They were under the seats.
Okay.
Or, I remember on the way there, I remember it was two different boats. On the way there, it was under the seats, and the other boat, it was in a trunk along the the interior of the boat.
Okay.
That
Okay.
helps.
Yeah, that does. They're accessible if you need them.
Oh,
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
They can have.
If I'm gonna freak out, I need a life jacket available to me.
We will
Then I'm
make
all
sure.
good. But I need a life jacket. Mhm.
Okay, we can make sure. Oh, we can make sure you
I'll just
have one.
ask. Yeah, when I
Or
get on,
just
I
have
can
one,
just
and if
ask.
you want to wear it on
Yeah.
the way over, that's fine too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, thank you. Thank you for understanding.
oh, of
course.
course. And that
Yeah.
was my little sister too, as I think I told you. I thought too, I'd have a Peggy and Tammy, and let's see, Peggy, Tammy, and Joy have been on trips before. Do you want to say anything just in general about the trips? I mean, like why you like to travel? You've
Sure. Yeah.
yeah.
I'll
So
say something. Yeah. These trips are fabulous. They are scheduled. They're just perfect. From morning to night, we have activities. It's not real rushed. We eat great food. We make a lot of memories, and we have a lot of fun doing it. And these ladies that take these trips, we all get along. It's really nice. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents.
yes, and
Yeah.
yes, and Peggy.
I'll share. I never expected to be on as many trips as I have signed.
Yeah,
I think this
you-
will be like my 7th, and it actually is a reward incentive for being on so many. It was a discount. I had been to Ireland before 7 years ago with Rhodes Scholar, and I absolutely loved Ireland, and it was the Wild Atlantic Way. But when Jeannie posted this, I immediately asked Joy and other people if they wanted to go, because what Jeannie does on her trips is you see a part of the culture that you don't see on a lot of other places. And it is a smaller group of women.
Yeah.
It's an amazing, like Tammy said, we're kind of pretty much like-minded, or even if you're not, very respectful.
Yes.
You've got all women, so you don't feel like, somebody's coupled off and you're intruding, or it's just absolutely amazing. And the things that Jeannie puts in, like when she talked about the culinary experience, we did that similarly in Asheville last April, and something that she hadn't tried before. And it's always such a unique and exciting and inviting experience. And if you we also had people who were I was recently on the where were we just now?
In Portugal.
We were, let's see, where were
in
we?
Portugal. And we were on the vans, and we had several people who are susceptible to motion sickness, and I can't tell you how much everybody helped each other. big time. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think there'll be parts that I hadn't seen before, and Jeannie's just fabulous energy to be around. So, and you've already got some good people signed up. Somebody who's not on tonight that I think will be on, who was on Portugal, is Kathy. And so there's already a few people from
Oh,
Austin,
yeah.
and they're
Really-
really fun, and lovely.
Is that Kathy Black?
No,
Did she
Kathy
go?
Schneider.
Oh, the other one.
Kathy
Okay.
Schneider. She was super fun in Portugal. And
Yeah.
Joy, you've well, you have to
Oh,
unmute.
you're muted.
Unmute yourself at the top.
Yeah.
I've only been on one NextTribe trip, but I have 3 more planned. Um,
Good.
and I can't, I would say that everything that's been said is so true, but what I really enjoy, again, like Peggy said, is the uniqueness of what we do on the trips and where we go and how we spend our time. It's not just go and be a tourist. It has meaning behind it, what we do. And that makes it special for me.
Yeah. I think, thank you, all of you. And those are 3 who are going to be on your trip. So it's not like I paid them to come here. But I wanted you guys to get an idea, not just for me, of the spirit of the trips, but I think what I always tell people is, for me, the number one thing is having fun, and everything else comes from that. So I'm determined to have fun, and it's my job to make sure you have fun yourself. And in that kind of spirit of just being loose and having fun, we come together with other women, we find what we have in common, and the byproduct of having fun and is that there's so much bonding that goes on, and that's because the women like you who are, you know, we're all similar age and stage of life, and we're all in that feeling of like, okay, let's do this thing, let's go, let's make it as this chapter of life as great as possible. So we're all in that same kind of mindset, and that's what helps gel the group, and when we're together, and that means so much as we go along. Like in Portugal, there were people who came with their friends, and by day 2, I couldn't remember who had come together before and who, because everybody was so friendly. People who travel by themselves, they're just embraced in the group, and everybody's folded in. It's not like there's going to be an outlier, somebody sitting by themselves where everybody else is at the cool table. that doesn't exist. We're all together in this, and it's just my pleasure, and to make sure everybody's coming together and having as much fun as I am. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, because like I said from the beginning, we're not going to be checking off landmarks and tourist must-sees on this. We're going for experiences and, and fun, like I said, and just growing as women and reaching the best of ourselves. Like what does that mean on a trip, to really just to relax and be among people you can feel confident with and comfortable with, and see some beautiful sights, but not have to chase down everything. The Cliffs of Moher, probably that's the most touristy thing that we're going to do. And again, I said we're going to do that in the evening. But since we have a smallish group here, maybe Gail, maybe everybody here who can just say hello and tell me a little bit about yourself and what your interest level is. Gail?
I'm here. I'm also in Florida.
But
Milton, so.
No.
Oh my gosh, please. Oh my gosh.
Well, I really want to do Scotland and Ireland, but I just don't think, I was looking at that lag time between, I'm trying to make up my mind which one to do. When I was in the Scotland one, I told you we traced one side of the family back to Scotland. My mother's maiden name is Egan. I know where they came from. And so I've always wanted to go to Ireland. So I'm just trying.
What is the lag time? I can't remember. What's the difference?
I think it's about 10 or 15 days.
Why did I do that?
Well, no, that part's okay, because actually I've looked into maybe doing a genealogy tour, because I actually know where the one that came over during the potato famine, where he was from.
Oh,
So, but it's trying to decide. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
But I like what you said about, because I wouldn't know everybody, but yeah,
No.
it's time to do stuff.
absolutely. And I tell you, nobody starts off knowing everyone on any of these trips, but by the time you finish, we have these WhatsApp groups, and we're still texting each other on WhatsApp, sending photos, that kind of thing. And we actually have a few people. We've had 9 people signed up so far. So we have 5 to 6 spaces left, depending on if people are single or sharing a room. So, but several of the people were on our Scotland trip last year and immediately signed up for Ireland as soon as, I posted Ireland soon after the Scotland trip, and 4 of them signed up right away. So and they didn't know each other before. So these 4 who met on the Scotland trip now are coming to Ireland. So
Same with the
that's
Santa Fe trip. 5 people within a week signed up to go to Charleston together who had never met before.
oh yeah, that's so fabulous. I know
Well, I
it
met
really, yeah.
Tammy
Oh, I'm
last
sorry,
year on
I
the
haven't
Italy
introduced
trip.
Marcy. Yes, that's true. Marcy, I forgot to introduce Marcy. Sorry. But then I'm going to get to you, Sandy. Marcy's our travel manager, so you might have seen her her name before, or gotten emails from her. So she's the one, once you sign up, and she'll be helping you with everything. And she's on board. She's a great resource for everybody. Can you say something?
Hi. You can email me. Hello.
Not
Travel.
putting you on the spot. Okay,
Yeah.
Sandy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, it's good to see your faces, because I've spoken to Marcy and Jeannie via email and a little bit by phone.
that's-
I was going to go on a different trip and had some complications that I won't get into. But anyway, I'm in Salt Lake City. This would be my first trip. I wouldn't potentially know anybody on the trip, and yeah, I would try not to cause any havoc or conflict.
Oh my gosh, no, why would you think that? No way.
I'm joking. I'm totally
know,
joking.
okay.
But I do have a
No.
couple questions about the trip.
Okay.
You had on the island, you showed riding bikes. Would that be an option if the weather isn't raining?
Yes, that would be an option. It's like 50, I mean, what's that?
I just said if it's not
Oh,
raining that day, because it's Ireland, you know.
Yes, that would be optional, because it's I think $15 to rent the bikes, but some people might be walking, some people might go on the.
Okay, and then
So
the
it
other,
wouldn't necessarily, another thing I like, okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to know, will this Zoom video, I saw that you're recording it. Will we
Yes.
have access to this? Like if I want to send this to a friend to say, hey, this is the trip I'm thinking of, get their opinion, not just mine.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's why we record it.
Okay.
So, and Marcy will get the recording and post it to YouTube, and then send it out to everyone who signed up for this call.
Okay, great.
So,
And also
yes.
it will be linked in the trip listing. So if you go to nexttribe.com and find the Ireland trip, and then the trip description, you'll see a link to the video.
Okay, great.
And one thing I was going to say that I do a lot of, this is something that's different than your normal trips from what I understand, is I don't, like if we go to the island of when we go to Aran Island, we're not going to do everything together. I mean, because people will have different things of what they want to do. I would just say meet back. I would get, there's maps, there's bike rental, there's carriage rides, there's hikes. I would give maps out and just say, do whatever makes you happy. And then we'll have a time to meet back. And so what I'm saying is you get time to be on your own, and meaning not single if you don't, or unless you want to be solo, but maybe you've met people who like to ride bikes. So you ride bikes with them, other people are walking, that kind of thing. So I try to give you more flexibility in the schedule than a traditional group tour. That's because when I started NextTribe, I was like, I personally don't like group tours in the traditional sense where it's like you're on a bus and you're walking and you're going and you're everybody's always together. I always say, you're grown-ass women. I trust you guys. If you decide that you don't want to do something, we will, meet up at a different time, or we'll have another thing you can do in the meantime. It's more loose than that. And we've always had good luck, knock on wood, that people, nobody's gone completely off the grid or off the rails. So anyway, we're lucky in that sense. And I hope that keeps up. But we have certain ways that we do it. And one is everybody has to have an international calling plan. So I can be we have our WhatsApp group. So I'll be texting. And if somebody's late, then I'll find you. Or so there are ways to make it more relaxed. My ideal is for you to feel like this is a girlfriend trip, like you're on this trip with a bunch of your girlfriends. That's the ideal. And I'd say almost always that happens. I mean that by the end of the trip, it's like your big pals, and then people like meet up and they go on other trips together. So this is a great way to meet your future traveling pals too. So and the other thing that Peggy mentioned is both Peggy and Tammy have gotten they've had more than 5 trips. Once you get to 5 trips, you get a 10% discount on your 6th trip. And that could be a nice chunk, if depending on the price of the trip. Also, and Peggy's been really good about this, if you refer, after you've been on one trip, if you refer other people on trips, you get $250 credit, and you build up travel credit. Marcy's there keeping track of everybody's travel credits. So that can be applied. So, because we want you to bring other friends in and help us just make these trips just extra fun with all your good girlfriends that you can bring along. So, any other questions? Because remember, somebody's getting $400 off of this trip. And I've got names of everybody here. Peggy, Tammy, Joy, Sandy, Gail.
Wow.
And
Amy.
Amy.
One of the reasons that I found NextTribe, it sounded so interesting. Sounds like you're all confirming it, is because you're not so regimented.
Yeah.
And you take some time and do things. And that sounds more my kind of style.
Yeah.
I think my style too. Like I said, I'm not for the regular tour groups. I always used to say, I'll never do group travel. And how ironic, I started a group travel company. But I'm informed by my own likes and dislikes about group travel. So I understand that we want a little bit of looseness. We want people to understand that we are grown women. We can do these things.
And
Okay, who did I get? I got Sandy.
Oh my gosh.
Andy.
I better sign up, huh?
Uh-oh. All right, so we have a close second. Do we have a second choice, just in case?
If Sandy, let's see, what's today? Today's the 7th. By the 15th, you'll get the $400. But if you sign up by the 15th,
Okay.
if you don't, let me see who else is in here.
Tammy. No, darn it.
Amy, you're second.
Thank you.
Newbies.
Sandy and Amy. Sandy first. I'm sorry, Gail. That made me feel bad because Gail didn't win on the other night either.
Oh, well,
I was rooting for you, Gail, but no, I was rooting for everything. Okay,
I'm
so
rooting for Ireland and Scotland. So
I know. So we should give you a multiple discount, but I haven't gotten there far yet. If you're doing 2 trips right together, but haven't gotten that far. Anyway, so Sandy, where are you? Oh, there you are.
Here.
How it happens if you sign up, you pay the deposit, and then Marcy will adjust your balance due. Because remember,
Okay.
the other thing that we've got a great platform now where you can pay monthly. So
Right.
your payments are all divided up monthly, no interest charged on that. So we just want to make it easier for you we know big chunks are hard.
Mhm.
So October 15th, and then it's Amy's turn. And if Amy doesn't sign up, Gail, you get it.
I do have a question. All of your trips though, you get us to the airport, right? Or do we have to do, or you just get us to Dublin, then we get us to the airport?
It depends on the trip. On this trip, no, we do not, airport transfers are not included. But other trips, they are included. It varies by the location, the destination. But what we do, and Marcy can talk about this, but if now or at another point if necessary, she will collect everybody's flight information, and often you get people on the same flight, and then you share a taxi or an Uber.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
which makes it easy. Peggy?
Yeah.
Just two things, well, sort of related. And Gail, what Jeannie just said is right. There's usually also sometimes Marcy or somebody will inform them about a really good rideshare service, like happened in Nashville, and we had excellent, easy ways to do things, and we have a meet and greet Zoom before, so that's never really
Yeah.
been a problem. I mean, I know for San Miguel, we have our private vetted driver because we're going over an hour away, and you don't want to just call an Uber in Mexico. But I did want to, and also share for the people that aren't going, if anybody, yes, I've been on a lot of trips, but my first international trip and my second trip ever was last year to Italy, and I only knew one person. And by the end of that trip, I had a lot of new friends, and not all of them have traveled on any of the trips since then, but there are so many people who travel that aren't traveling with a group of friends, which also kind of makes it really nice.
It does.
I think when there's not a group of like 5 people that know each other and they're all together, it really has been lovely. I did have a question, Jeannie and Marcy. You said there were 9 people already signed up, and I know sometimes you have a certain amount. I've never seen you have a trip that didn't make that I've been interested in.
Yeah, no, it'll
We aren't
make.
ready. Yeah, Joy and we were talking about, airline reservations. Sometimes making them so far ahead isn't a good idea because, as I found out from Morocco, they canceled the flight. But do you think it's safe, like the beginning of the new year, to plan on the
I feel like we're gonna, our bookings have started coming back up again ever since Labor Day.
Okay.
Things are up, and I feel sure this is a popular trip. I mean, just there's some energy around it and stuff. So, yeah, I think
Okay.
definitely
Just
by the beginning of the year
sure.
you can be safe to go.
Okay.
Questioning whether or not you have trip insurance.
Oh, yes.
Trip insurance covers the investment in the trip, meaning the cost of airfare, the cost of the trip. If you have to cancel inside of our cancellation, which is 60 days, then we can't give you anything back.
Except we will transfer your deposit.
Correct. But anyways, I can't believe the crazy things that happen to people and they can't go on the trip. It's stuff that you would never imagine. So highly recommend trip insurance.
Absolutely. We do have partners, and that's Marcy can send that out, but for trip insurance. Yes. So, I mean, unfortunately, we are at the age where things not just happen to us, but maybe to loved ones that we have to take care of. So, please be really, truly consider it. Seriously. So,
Question about that. Is that trip insurance in case you have to cancel, or is that evacuation insurance in case you like break your leg or something?
It's all inclusive.
there's the 2 things. Trip insurance is
Both?
if you have to cancel.
Mhm.
Travel health insurance is if something happens and you have to leave or evacuate. For instance, one of our travelers in the second group in Portugal, she came down with COVID, and we were still trying to figure out how we were going to move forward or how serious it was. And she decided that she would leave, she just wasn't feeling well enough. And so, we are just working with her to help her get she had the travel insurance to cover that. So we're working with her right now to make sure that she's got all the documentation she needs for that.
Okay. Okay. I've had experience with both. When I travel for work, I have to get international evacuation insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
We've
it took
had a
me
lot
long
of,
time.
yeah, we've had
figure
a lot of discussions in Austin around that. We have a very vibrant sort of Austin social group of NextTribe. So
Mm-hmm.
we had actually a travel person speak at one of our Sunday luncheon things and talked about MedJet evacuation insurance and the regular insurance. And it still is real confounding. I did not get the MedJet, but I did get an Allianz yearly plan that Kathy had that was under $200, and it gives you some basic like evacuation plus the others. So yeah, just look into it. It can be overwhelming, but I thought it was really helpful to listen, ask other people too.
Mhm.
So I-
Marcy, do you have the links for the chat possibly for either one?
It would take me a minute to get the actual NextTribe connected links.
Okay.
I have a
so-
question.
Oh, yeah.
For those of us that are on Medicare, what do you do about health insurance when you travel overseas?
Medicare doesn't cover.
I know. So do you have to just get a separate policy?
I
No,
never have. That's why I've got the Allianz travel insurance, because a part of it includes certain hospitalizations
That's
and
true.
stuff
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you're sick. But yeah, I'm Medicare too. Mm.
And the other thing I found is that if you do, we've had somebody sprain an ankle
Mhm.
badly, and we took her, she had to go to the doctor, and she had x-rays and all this stuff, and it was $45. So
Right.
that was in Mexico, but
That was Mexico, yeah.
yeah, but it does hold true in many other places where the healthcare is the costs are pretty low for standard, for checkups or broken leg or something like that. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah. I have a friend who was biking in Sardinia and fell and didn't know she broke her pelvis.
Oh my gosh.
And so she kept biking. And then once she slowed down for a couple of days, she was in so much pain, she went to the hospital and she had emergency surgery in Italy.
Oh, wow.
And I haven't asked her yet what she did for insurance. I know she had the Allianz yearly plan, but I don't know if
good.
it covered that. So
There's different amounts on that yearly plan and whatever, so it tells you about how much. I was on not this trip, but a Viking cruise, something I've never done before, but somebody had invited me that had canceled anyway, and somebody got very, very sick the third day, and they were hospitalized and for over a week in Athens in Greece,
mhm.
and they worked with them with their travel insurance to cover all that and to get them back to the States.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's
Cover
tough.
it, or do you get reimbursed later? Do you know? I mean, I'm jumping
Are you
well,
asking me
but
or
you're
asking
talking-
Peggy?
I think it depends on the insurance company probably, because they're all different.
that you're talking about. If something does happen, do they cover it then like our insurance does here, or do you pay for it and then they reimburse
That's a
you?
good
Oh, I
question.
don't know. I'm sure it's unique to each.
Yeah,
That's something to ask your insurance person, because we're been told we can't give out insurance advice, right,
okay.
Marcy? You're told.
yeah, and all I know is now that I've been doing this for a while and people are having things with, and then they need help, documentation and stuff. And I can tell you for sure that the insurance companies make it really easy to sign up, and then they find any reason they can to not cover your claim. So just make sure that you read it, all the fine print, and save everything, all your and I can help you with documentation from our end, but they're all different.
Okay.
I did just put the link in the chat to our insurance page. So if you click that, it'll take you to nexttribe.com insurance page. And then there's 2 links in there to 2 different insurance companies we partner with.
Okay.
Okay, I hope this was helpful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
sure love meeting some of you and seeing others again.
Mhm.
So, and Gail, good luck with the storm. Are you evacuating or where? I forget where you
No,
are.
I'm not in an evacuation zone, and they ask everyone not in a zone to stay put because you hinder the people that need to.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. After just going through a hurricane, well, I wasn't actually there for the hurricane, but my guy was. He's saying, it was just awful. He's laughing. But being in Asheville,
Oh, yeah.
our place in Asheville, now we're in Tennessee because we still have no water in Asheville, but it's been kind of a crazy ride. So my heart goes out to now in a new way to people involved in any way with a hurricane.
Yeah.
Especially you, Mike.
There you go.
Okay, well, if
Thanks,
there are other
Jeannie.
questions, if there's other questions, you can always ask Marcy. She's available, travel@nexttribe.com. I think, are we saying something, Marcy? Because, oh, there you are. There she put her email.
I was
Okay.
saying travel@nexttribe.com.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. and I
Oh,
hope
thank you.
we'll see you again soon on a trip.
I'll
Bye.
see you on
All
one
right.
of them. I don't know which one.
Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Ireland, Ireland, Ireland.
Carolyn was awesome. So green, so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you
guys
very
all have a
much.
All right.
Hi,
Bye,
Jeannie.
everybody.